Welcome to Crossing Souls, an action-adventure platformer by 4Radic and published by those naughty boys and girls over at Devolver Digital. Crossing Souls is a love letter to the 80s, and it really wants you to know that. There's a mysterious relic that allows you to interact with the world of the day. Remember that Ghostbusters movie from the 80s? Remember that rap group from the 80s? Remember that anime from the 80s? Are you noticing a pattern here? Now, no 80s inspired product is complete without a Goonies reference. You control a cast of carefree kids who are definitely not given a stereotype in lieu of a personality. You've got Chris, who's the de facto leader of the group and the perfect candidate for every anime's favorite game, Guess the Protagonist, who also likes to smash public property with a bat and is apparently the only person who knows how to jump. I'm not joking, that's his special ability, jumping. Apparently no other character in the game knows how to do it. Next up is Matt, Chris's best friend and a massive nerd if it wasn't apparent for the fact that he thinks a collared shirt, tie, and a vest combo is an appropriate kid casual look. He also has a laser gun that just isn't very fun to use. You'd think with how smart he is, he would know how to make a gun that actually felt good to shoot and was actually viable in combat. Now Charlie's the rebel outsider who doesn't live in the city. She's dangerous and cool and can do the sick sliding move. She also fights with a jump rope, which is definitely a Kingdom Hearts reference. Big Joe is the MVP of the game though. Despite everyone constantly dunking on him because he's fat, he always puts a team on his back and has a heart of gold. I'd mention his special ability, but I honestly have no clue how it works. No, really. Do I hold and release? Nope. Okay, what if I double tap now? That's not gonna do it. Do I have to flick the stick? No. Okay, forget it. And finally, we have Kevin, who is Chris's brother and an annoying brat. Unlike the other characters, he has no special ability, unless you count being a garbage person a power. A little behind the scenes fun fact. I wrote a bad joke about how Matt was obviously a nerd because of his glasses, but when I got to Kevin, I realized it wasn't gonna work. I begrudgingly had to rewrite that one. Now remember when I mentioned how the kids were basically a Goonies reference? I'm gonna go back and switch that to Monster Squad because let's be real here. It's a better movie in every way. You can switch between all these characters at the press of a button, which would be really cool if the combat were any fun. It's just super mindless in the worst possible way, and due to some floaty jumping controls, the platforming segments are just a pain. On the bright side, the game also has spooky ghosts. All kinds. Cowboy ghosts, dinosaur ghosts, old lady ghosts, and even that one ghost from Poltergeist. You know, that movie from the 80s. Man, the 80s were so cool. Did I mention I was born in the 90s? If you're a fan of working out your brain, you can solve various fun puzzles like this one. This is a tough one, guys. There we go. Wasn't that fun? The game also features tracks by Timecop 1983, because if you're going to get a synth artist in your 80s pastiche, you might as well get the one who has a year from the 80s in their name. That's all I've got today, since I really don't want to have to work on this video any more than I have to because Premiere hasn't crashed on me yet, and it's honestly making me nervous. The game's pretty okay, despite some quirks. It mainly coasts by on its charm and Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic. Some decent writing helps keep you engaged as well. If I had to give it a score from 1 to 5, I'd say it's definitely a video game.